nílé lóko. Ẹ sì kú dédé àsìkò yìí. Hey guys, it's Aderonke again. This video is on the general parts of the body. I'm making videos on the sections, so the head, and I'll talk about the parts of the head, in detail. And then I pick another section, the neck, and I talk about the parts of the neck in detail in Yoruba. So I feel like there should be something more general. Actually, someone requested for something more general, so this is what this video is for. Ori is the first part, which is the head. Ori, 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 head. Ori, head. Ori, head. I've made a detailed video on the head and the parts of the head. And then orun. Orun is neck. Orun is neck. Orun. Orun. It's made up of two syllables. Orun. Re, do. That's the tonal mark. I have a video on tonal marks. I'm going to make another one just to help people understand how to place them on Yoruba words, or how to read Yoruba words through them. So, but if you've not seen the first one, you should, because it's detailed as well. Orun, neck. And then the arm is akpa, 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 akpa. The thing with many Yoruba words is that now it's not so easy for us to tell how they were formed, because some of the words that make up one word, some of the little words that make up one word, or some of the syllables we don't use anymore. This is not the Yoruba that I speak, is not the Yoruba that was spoken in the 1700s. The English that I'm speaking right now is not the English that was spoken in the 1700s. Have you ever picked up a book by Shakespeare? The words go something like, wherefore art thou fliest to thy woman, to see it and breathe it? It was a lot, but even this one is not the proper way. Even this one is a bit diluted. Imagine the kind that they were speaking even long before English became a written language. So a lot of things are diluted. Now, with many Yoruba words, you can really tell how they were formed. With some, you cannot anymore, because those words are not in use. Orun, for example, sorry that I have to go back. Orun, for example. Now, if you're into, linguistics and semantics and literature, word formations, all of that, orun, or would of course be something that, depending on the context. In this context, it would be something that. I know that much about old Yoruba and the sort of the dissension to what we have now, to the one we speak now, or the development. Let me use the word development instead, to what we have now. Or is something that if you use the word now, if you use the word now, it would be in the context of smell. It smells. It smells. But that's not the only thing that it could mean. That's not the only thing that it meant, back then. At that time would have connoted something that is either tall, or something that makes tall, or let's go with those two. It would have something to do with the neck being responsible for making the head tall, instead of letting the head just fall on the shoulders. I wonder how the human beings would have looked if we didn't have a neck. So orun, and you can sort of sense that in the word okparun. Okparun is a sort of a kind of wood. Okparun. I don't know if plywood would be the correct English equivalent, or some kind of long wood. is what we call okpa. It can't be plywood. I don't think it is. I have to, when I talk about word formations and stuff, I have to look that up and correct that. But it's a kind of wood, processed wood. Okparu. Oru. Something that is tall or something that makes tall. But we don't use or ru or what, we don't use ru in that sense anymore. You know, ru is much more used in the that smells context. So my point exactly is Yoruba words have really changed from what we had in the past. For some words, if I really look into it and I can go into how they were formed, and I can sort of guess, maybe someday in a live video we can just sort of go over it together, or maybe I can invite someone who is maybe a specialist in 1600s Yoruba to sort of let us know more about some of the words that have gone into extinction. I will, when the time is right. Just so that I don't lose focus, let's go back to the arm. Akpa. Again, I'm very tempted to go into how this word was formed, but I'm not going to do that because it just makes my videos really long, unbearably long. Akpa is arm. Akpa is arm. Akpa. Remi, that's the tonal mark. Remi, akpa, arm. And then ejika, that's the shoulder. Ejika, shoulder. Eji. You see, I'm trying not to, but I'm really tempted to. Eji is two. Eji is two. Is two. Now, the way that we would say two would be more recently. By recently, I mean within the past few centuries or so, is eji. And when we are trying to describe something as an adjective, we would say meji. Oh, melo lo wambe. How many do we have there? Meji lo wambe. We have two there. You know, when you're using it in a sentence, many times it would be more meji than it is eji. Eji is what we would often say when we're not really using it within the context. So eji is how they used to say two back then. I don't think they ever said eji. It just sort of developed to eji, okan, eji, eta, erin. That one is more recent. By recent, I mean, you know, the 1900s, 1800s. Long before, it was okan, eji, eta, erin, arun, efa, eje, ejo. Now we say okan, eji, eta. So eji. As a matter of fact, even okan is different. In the 1500s, 1600s, okan, I don't even think it existed there. It was any. That was the way of saying one. Long before it started becoming okan became synonymous. So any, and then the synonym for any gradually became okan, and then now it would be okan or ikan. Within a sentence, it would be eyokan, one, eyokan. When you're trying to sort of describe, melo lo wa be eyokan, there is one there, just one there. I will get into it. So any is even older than these synonyms. Any bi eni, eji bi eji, eta tagba, eri woroko, aru bodo. Let me not digress, because I'm never going to finish this video if I keep doing this. Eji in ejika is two. No, we have two shoulders. Ejika. Ka is if you say ka shoyen, is like bend those clothes or fold those clothes. The Yoruba people are very descriptive. Ka is something that can bend, something that bends. Oka, it bends. And the way the two shoulders sit, you know, within the body, you can bend them. You can raise your shoulder, right? You can raise your shoulder. Like jika mejeji is okay. Or dele kai jikai. I'm getting too far into it. Really interested in how words were formed, and you can tell. Ka is something that bends. The two things that bend, in the body, that bend on the chest, or beside the chest, let me say. Ejika, you can raise, you can bend. Ejika, shoulder, right? So that was how that word was formed. Some people are not as interested in, some people just use words. I'm really, really interested because I know that words have physical and spiritual reactions, or results. Or how do I put it? But that's that. Ejika. Don't worry. When I teach the language to a really, really substantial level, maybe in a year or two, I would then start to go into word formations and start to go back to the 1500s and 1600s with you. But not now, not now. Aya. Aya is chest. Again, I'm till the end of this video, I'm not going to talk about word formations. I promise myself and I promise you. Aya. Aya. Aya is chest. Aya is chest. And of course, if you're wondering if that is Michael Jackson, you are super right. And that's a beautiful chest. But don't let me sound thirsty. Aya is chest. Okay, I'm just going to break my promise this one time. Aya. How do I explain it? Now, if you want to say open your mouth to a child, for example, you would say lanu, open your mouth. Back then, they would have said yanu. Ya was what was synonymous to open, was literally open before it became la. So la nue, open your mouth. La, open. La, open. Ya is to open, was to open much longer, in the 1700, before la became a synonym, became literally the new way of saying open. Although yeah is still correct, if you listen to some dialects, you can still hear those old Yoruba words. The one that I speak, that I teach, is the general one. I don't really teach like specialized dialects yet. Yeah, not even every Yoruba person can speak every dialect. Most often you have to be from there. You can learn all the other dialects, but most often you have to be from a particular town or area to be able to be fluent in that dialect naturally, and not necessarily naturally. But don't let me get distracted. Yeah. So aya is something that can be opened, right? You can tilt your chest outwards. When you look at the human frame, the chest is the one that is sort of tilted outwards. You can tilt that out. You can open that. It's something that can be opened, that can be exposed to the open. Well, that would be an incorrect way of explaining something that is basically open. Something that can be opened. You can open your chest. You can raise your chest out to the open. And that's how that word was formed. Aya. Something that can be opened. Aya is chest. Aya. 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 It's different from aya. Aya is wife. Aya is wife. If you've seen my video on the family, each word for each family member, I've talked about this. Iyawo, or aya, is wife. Aya is chest. Let's just stare at the glorious chest for a second. Okay, moving on. Onyo or omu is breast. Onyo or omu is breast. Onyo. Sorry, I should have given a fair warning before moving to this slide. Onyo or omu is breast. Onyo, omu, onyo, omu, omu. I failed my own promise. Omu, mu is like now we would say mu is sort of connotes drink, right? Something that can be drunk from. Onyo, nyo is sort of connotes to choose. So something that can be chosen from. It sort of makes a reference to the fact that there are two breasts. Onyo, something that can be chosen. You can either choose the left or choose the right. Omu, something that can be drunk from, sort of like a source of something that you can drink. Again, I'm going to move on and I'm not going to fail my promise again. Onyo or omu is breast. Enyi. Ronke, don't talk about how enyi was formed. Ronke, stop it. Enyi is back, the back. Ẹ̀yìn, back. Ẹ̀yìn, 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 back. Ẹ̀yìn, back. Ẹ̀yìn, dodo. That's those are the tonal marks for each syllable in this word. Ẹ̀yìn, dodo. Again, if you've not seen my video on tonal marks, please do so. Ẹ̀yìn, back. Ikùn, ikùn. I'm not going to talk about how this word was formed. Ikùn is stomach. Ikùn, because that's another 30-minute video when I try to break it down so that you can understand. Ikùn is stomach. Ikùn is stomach. Ikùn, ikùn. But I'm just going to speak about it a bit. You know when our stomach rumbles. You know when you're hungry and your stomach rumbles, sort of kun, is to sort of make that sound. So the thing, ikun, something that makes that sound, ikun, stomach, ikun. Again, the Yoruba people, how they form their words, they sort of describe it and somehow they conjoin the different syllables that make it up into one word, and it becomes the standard word that they use and that we use on this day. Ikun is stomach. Ikun is stomach, and that's because that part of the body rumbles. I guess whenever this word was formed, they could sort of tell that whenever they were hungry, that part of their body made a sound. Ikun, stomach. Think of even the word ekun. For instance, ekun is what we call tigers in Yoruba. A tiger is ekun in Yoruba. Ekun, ekun. The animal is called ekun because of the sound that it makes. Kun. Kun. Is to make that sound. Oh, how do I describe it? Sort of making that trothy type sound that is like, it's not rumbling, but you know that sound that when the tiger is sort of making that sound like it's about to pounce on you, or the animal is about to pounce on you, or the animal is upset, that sound that I've just described, that our stomach makes too. Sometimes when you're sort of upset about something that your parents have said to you, you might make that sound. that sort of rumbling sound. So ekun, the reason why the animal is called ekun is because of that sound that it makes, and we sometimes make that sound to ourselves, and our stomachs make that sound too when we are hungry. So that's how that word was formed. Ekun, ikun, ikun, ekun. I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't want to go too far into it. Idi, 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 idi. D is something that blocks. Okay, no. I'm not going into that. Idi, buttocks. Idi, buttocks or bum. Idi, buttocks or bum. Iton is thigh or lap. The thigh or the lap. Iton, rere. That's why it doesn't have any tonal mark on it. Those are the tonal marks that make it up. None, because we don't have any tonal mark for re. Watch my video on tonal marks. You would understand what I'm saying. Iton is thigh or lap. Iton, 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 iton. And then there is orukun. Orukun. Orukun again. Okay, no. I'll talk about word provision separately. Orukun, knee. Orukun, knee. Orukun, 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 knee. Orukun, knee, knee. Orukun, knee. There is ese, and that is leg. Ese, leg. Ese, leg. Ese, leg. So I've already talked about the detailed parts of the head. I've already talked about the detailed parts of the neck. So, I've talked about the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the uvula, the tongue, everything in separate video. And then for the neck, I've done a separate video for that as well. Next, I will do the arm, and then I'll sort of go through all the parts like that. These are the general parts of the body that I've discussed. Orí, ọrùn, apá, èjìká, àyà, ọyàn, ẹ̀yìn, ikùn, ìdí, itan, orúnkún, ẹsẹ̀. Those are the major parts. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Please share my video and leave your comments and subscribe. And thank you so much for the support that you gave me in the past. I have, because I don't ever want to forget, I have like a website, sort of a website that I am not paying for, so it's sort of a free website, and I have the link here and in the description. So if you want to see like what I've gotten, the monetary gifts that I've gotten, you can sort of see those who gave it to me and how much that they gave. In the future, I'm going to do something with the money. I'm still thinking of what. I'm thinking of charity, and I'm thinking sort of maybe, because at some point I'm going to have to start showing my face in my videos, right? So maybe proper costumes and sort I want to make it big, but I can't right now because I don't have the resources. But I'm keeping the money towards making my channel bigger. So if you'd like to support my channel, please do so and continue to watch my videos. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day and goodbye.